नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जे अनिलो प्रेम धन करुणा प्रचुर जे अनिलो प्रेम धन करुणा प्रचुर हेनो प्रभु कोथा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर हेनो प्रभु कोथा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर जे अनिलो प्रेम धन करुणा प्रचुर जे अनिलो हेनो प्रभु कोथा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर कहाँ मोर स्वरूप रूपा कहाँ सनातन कहाँ दास रघुनाथ पतित पावन जे अनिलो प्रेम धना करुणा प्रचुर कहाँ मोर भट्ट जुग, कहाँ कबीरा। एका काले कोथा गेला गोरा नटरा। एका काले कोथा गेला गोरा नटरा। पाषाणे कुटिबो माथा, अनले पशिबो। गौरांग गुणेर निधि, कोथा गेले पाबो। गौरांग गुणेर निधि, कोथा गेले पाबो। से सब संगीरा संगे, जे कोइलो बिला। से संग न पाइया, कांदे नरोत्तम दास। जे आनिलो प्रेमा धना, करुणा प्रचुर। हेनो प्रभु कोथा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर। जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 प्रभुपाद।
Jai Shri Radha Govinda ki. This is Mridula. Okay, Hari Hari. So today is the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. When we say Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada is Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. That's how he was called. And when the devotees started calling Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, some were not happy. But it is a general title. Prabhupada explained that the spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada, Vishnupad, and so on, which are all names which means one who sits at the feet of the Lord, one who is the servant of the Lord. So we call Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Prabhupada. Maybe I'll ask some of you if you have anything to say about him. Today I was thinking of how he was really the one who went one step forward in practicing yukta vairagya. Really. As we know, Damodar, as we know, Srila Rupa Goswami has presented this concept of yukta vairagya, which means that we don't give up things, but we connect them to Krishna. We connect everything to Krishna. So instead of using the things for our own benefit, for our own sense gratification, or for the benefit of our family or whatever, we actually use everything in the service of Krishna. So this has been practiced by all our acharyas. But as we entered the modern age, then gradually the number of sense objects have been multiplying. This is the specific aspect of the modern society. Industrialization, what it has done, it has helped produce many, many more things. Many things are being produced, many different objects are being produced that people use. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself also started using things, whatever was there, in Krishna's service. And Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur became expert at using everything in Krishna's service. And one thing that I always think, wow, he was very, as we know, he was always ready to defy anybody. And when we go to his house, the house of Bhaktivinoda in Mayapur, Navadvip, we see the room of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, and we see the whole house. And also in Radhakund, there's a house, the house of Bhaktivinoda, and there also Bhaktisiddhanta used to say. And one thing which is common to those two houses is the toilets. And because this is something very revolutionary. Today we are all living with the toilet next door. And then it's not even next door, it's inside the bedroom. Inside the bedroom there is a Western commode. And if you think how revolutionary this was, this is like, for me, it's an example of how he was like always ready to defy anyone. And yeah, for the sake of saving time, maybe, how they integrated these toilets inside the house. And at that time, it was something that wouldn't be done by Brahmins, certainly. It was something against the social etiquette. Brahmanas would never do something like that. So we meditate on Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura, on how he has taught this art. And Srila Prabhupada very rightly captured that spirit, and he carried it across the ocean. And he used whatever was there in Krishna's service, saying that everything which is connected to Krishna becomes spiritual. There is actually no matter. Matter is there for those who are not thinking of Krishna, for those who are not connected to Krishna. And for them there is matter. Matter which is which emanates this illusory energy that bewilders everybody. But for a devotee who follows this principle of Yukta Vairagya, and there is no Maya, doesn't exist. So Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, we see him wearing like English clothes. We see him riding cars. And using anything that was produced by the English society, the modern society. And always he was of the opinion that one has to come to the level of the people that we are trying to preach to. So I was saying, if we go to visit a rich man in this age of Kali, which is so different from the other ages, people do not value spirituality. So if a sadhu goes to visit a rich man in a like very plain dress or half dressed without shoes and in a very simple attire, he'll be chased away by the dogs. He will not be received. He will not be allowed inside the house. So because there is no piety, there's no recognition, there is no understanding, there's no appreciation of simplicity, renunciation. There's no appreciation of that. In the modern society, wealth is worshipped. Srila Prabhupada writes it's in the Bhagavatam itself that in the age of Kali, the social status of a man is measured by how much money he has. So, and the sadhu is by nature a beggar. Not a pitiful beggar, helpless, but his nature is like that a sadhu is not allowed to earn by working a job or doing business, or even plowing the land. It is simply, sadhu is meant to go door to door and somehow depend on the Grihastha community. So, but this is not understood in this age. So Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, knowing this, had a car, and he was wearing shoes. He was wearing shoes. And in this way, he would come and speak, on the same level as the Britishers at that time, he was trying to preach because he, all the acharyas before the advent of Bhaktivedanta, Srila Prabhupada, they were wandering. Prithivite Achayatana Garati Dham, in every town and village, Mahaprabhu said, there will be the prachar of my name. And all the acharyas were thinking here, how this will happen. And Bhaktisiddhanta's father, he is the one who started writing in English. Why in English? Not just because the Britishers were in India, but because the Britishers were everywhere, all over the world. And English became the global language. And so, in order to, the way to receive Krishna consciousness is Shravana, by hearing. So, Bhakti Vinod Thakur reasoned that as long as the teachings of Mahaprabhu are presented in Bengali and in Sanskrit, they will never spread. The teachings will not spread as long as they are in Sanskrit and in Bengali, because these languages are known in a restricted geographical area. So in order to preach all over the world, the first thing is put the teachings in the language which is the most common. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur started doing that. And Bhaktisiddhanta took this over in a big way, establishing what he called the Brihad Mridanga. He built a temple in Calcutta, and a big part of the temple was the printing press. He was not depending on some shop, some printer somewhere. He built his own printing press, brought the printing machines, and he started printing. He printed, of course, also in Bengali, in Hindi, but he printed in English. He printed in English. And as we know, he was extremely intelligent and educated. And his English was defying the English of any British man. He was, if you read, Srila Prabhupada, published under the BBT one book by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Which book? You all know? The Brahma Samhita. The Brahma Samhita is by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the commentaries by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Prabhupada published that book, and you can see the difference between the English that was, written by Bhaktisiddhanta and the English that was written by Prabhupada. What Prabhupada writes, mostly everyone can understand. It's fairly simple, clear. It's fairly simple. But what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati writes is not like that. It's like he's read the dictionary and learned it by heart, and he's aware of a variety of words that are hardly ever used. So that was his style. He was expressing the teachings of Mahaprabhu in very high-fi English, and preaching. And he is also, as we know, there is this history how Bhaktivinoda, he wrote in English and he sent the books by mail, the life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya's life and precept. It's a small book, quite thin. And he mailed this to different continents, different countries. Somehow he found addresses. He got, that time there was no, internet, no phone, no nothing. Somehow he managed to reach his book to various universities. So that was the first effort to get these teachings of Mahaprabhu outside of India, all over the world. And, Prabhupada always said that even if somebody keeps a Bhagavad Gita or a Bhagavatam, a book about Krishna in their house, that book is not just a book. It's the Lord himself that enters the house. And it vibrates and emanates that spiritual energy, and something will happen. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had this faith that by sending the books, the life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya, something would happen. Sending those books was like sending Mahaprabhu already on all the different continents. People would read the book. And just by the presence of the book, the energy, the spiritual energy of the Lord would be there. So Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati went one step further. He didn't send books, he sent people. He sent his disciples to different places, especially to London, in UK, to Germany, and to Burma. This is not so far from India. He sent his disciples there with the mission to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. Were they successful? Well, and definitely they went, they spoke, In UK, it didn't fare too well. It didn't really work well in UK. In Germany, some disciples were made. German disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati. And in Burma, which is, of course, the culture of Burma is more close to the culture of India, they actually established mats. I don't remember exactly. 4 mats were established outside of India under Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. So we remember him today, a great scholar, including an astrologer, an astronomer, an astrologer, and a great philosopher, and very austere person. Even though he was using all these things, he was very, very austere in his personal life. And as we know, he spent like 9 years in Mayapur chanting, only chanting. To attain, the grace, to get the grace of Krishna and be empowered to do his work. It's a little difficult sometimes for us to conceive because we live in a world where ISKCON is everywhere. Hare Krishna is everywhere, But at that time it wasn't like this. The movement of Lord Chaitanya was restricted to Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And this idea of turning non-Vaishnavas into Vaishnavas, that was not accepted by everybody. As we know, in India there is the descending from the varnashram system established by Krishna. There is the caste system, which means that the varnas and ashrams become frozen. And one cannot change. One cannot change in one lifetime. According to the varnashram system, we see in the Bhagavatam that sometimes a king, has sons. Some become Kshatriyas, some become Brahmanas. So in the Devi Varnashram, which we understand, there is a possibility, that one can live according to their qualities, which may not correspond to the family within which one is born. But if you take the concept in this age of Kali and in this modern age, people will call themselves Kshatriya, Brahmana just by family descent, with no connection to the qualities. And then when it comes, as we know, to marriages, for example, they don't do cross caste marriages. So this is a very deep, ingrained bodily concept of life. And of course, there is the concept of higher class, lower class. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes is known as a social reformer. And he established this, that actually one who takes up to Krishna consciousness is beyond the caste system, has gone beyond. One who has understood Krishna, that person has transcended this identification with the body. And it is true, because to be a worshipper of Krishna, it is based on knowledge, the knowledge that I am the soul. And then the miracle that happens by practicing bhakti, by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. What is the miracle that happens? Is this very rapid purification. Very, very quick purification. The system of lower classes and higher classes, which is there, defined by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, it is based on the influence of the modes of nature. The Brahmins their body is made of sattva. The Kshatriyas, their body is made of rajas. And the Vaishyas, their body is made of rajas and tamas. And the Shudras, their body is mostly made of tamas. So, by the regular processes of purification, such as doing karmas and prescribed duties and all that, the purification is slow. And mostly, it takes many lives for one to move on for a soul, to move on from being totally under the influence of tamas to starting to have some rajas and then some sattva, and then, it takes. But by the chanting of the Maha Mantra, there is a miracle that happens. What is the miracle? Is that in one lifetime, if somebody is sincere, he will go from, he will burn the lower gunas. This is the result of the teaching. Will burn the lower gunas and elevate oneself to the Brahminical platform. So that is not understood by the mundane people. So Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura, with full faith, practiced this and initiated people from all walks of life, preparing the ground for a worldwide movement that would bring people from all different races, not just different people from, at least from the Indian subcontinent who are based on some background of Vedic culture, but a worldwide movement that would recruit people who have no clue and whose habits are way behind Malachas, Yavanas. So But Bhaktisiddhanta has a complete faith in the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a Rupanuga, is known. A Rupanuga, a follower of Srila Rupa Goswami, and a follower of these teachings, headed with Yukta Vairagya, that you use everything in Krishna's service. And this idea that a human being can evolve through the chanting of Hare Krishna, through the practice of Navavida Bhakti, the 9 processes of devotional service. So, we are fortunate to be able to be connected with him and remember him on this day. As we know, when he was about to leave his body, Srila Prabhupada wrote to him. He wrote to him to get some instructions how to proceed, because he knew he was unwell. And Srila Prabhupada was amazed because he actually got a letter back from Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. And the instruction that he got was the same as the instruction that he had gotten when he had first met him in a satsang. He had gone for darshan. Jai. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura ki jai. He got that same instruction, which was basically to preach in English to the English world, in other words, outside of India. And Srila Prabhupada always said that I do not know Krishna, but I know my Guru Maharaj. And he always considered himself the servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. And this is very exemplary. Prabhupada says, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayani. You know, that actually it says that we offer our obeisances to Prabhupada, who is the servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. And Prabhupada said that who is preaching all over the world? Prabhupada said, who is preaching all over the world is Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati. He is preaching all over the world, and Prabhupada is considered himself as his humble assistant. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura, sometimes it is said that we could never have been his disciples because he was so strict. He was so strict with his disciples. So somehow he produced this wonderful disciple, Srila Prabhupada, who could somehow expand the mercy further and further, which is required. As the age of Kali progresses, the qualification of the people decreases. This is a fact. And so those who are preaching have to become more and more expert how to change the minds of the people, how to attract them to Krishna, how to reach out to them. And the more the time progresses, the more you have to reach lower and lower and lower and lower. When Bhaktisiddhanta was preaching, the people were still quite cultured. But today, even here in this land of India, the culture is gone in the young generations. It is gone. So we pray to Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura today to bless us. Prabhupada also said the grandfather is more merciful than the father. So for us, he is a grandfather. So how much more merciful? So before we do Pushpanjali, anybody wants to say something? Yes, Dennis?
I want to tell about my lovely environment. When we look at the Guru Parampara, we see a strange situation why Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati don't get initiation at his father. It's so simple, and it secret position of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati. He want to broke Brahma, Smarta Brahmans. He want to broke Smarta Brahman position to who is really Brahman. And in this way, for broken Smarta Brahman position, he decided to get initiation not at his father, but and Gaura Kishore Babaji Maharaja. So this way, he showed that it's not necessary to get initiation from Brahman, because Gaura Kishore Babaji Maharaj, he was very simple, scientific person like his father. Maybe difficult to understand.
Yeah, well,
You correct me.
usually what we understood from Srila Prabhupada is that usually one does not take initiation from one's own parents. One will take initiation from someone else. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was certainly the Shiksha Guru of Bhaktisiddhanta. As you know, he prayed for his advent. He recognized him from the time he was a baby. He recognized him at the time of birth, that the umbilical cord was wrapped around his body like a sacred thread. And then when the mother went to take darshan of Jagannath, the garland fell upon him. And so he took this as a confirmation, and therefore he trained him from the beginning of life. He didn't even wait until he was 5 years old. He trained him from the very beginning, very strictly. So he is his Shiksha Guru, but he refrained from giving initiation. And it is said it's a kind of etiquette that the father will not initiate the son in that way. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur directed him to Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who was a friend of Bhaktivinoda and also considered himself as who had a great regard for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, in that way. And it is also an exercise of humility on the side of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was a highly scholarly person, very, very evolved in philosophy, in education, and moving in the world, a highly qualified person, you would say, on the material platform as well. And but he took initiation from somebody who's illiterate. And that also to show that what is important in a person is the spiritual enlightenment. And Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was a Paramahamsa. He was completely absorbed in remembrance of Krishna and nothing to do with the world at all. So in that way, yes, I'm not sure about breaking the idea that he didn't take initiation from a Brahmin, but certainly to indicate that, Guru is one who knows Krishna. And this is the line of Lord Chaitanya, that, the spiritual acumen has to be there, the spiritual power has to be there, and that spiritual power can manifest in a person of any caste, any type of body. It can manifest there by the grace of Krishna. So, in that way, he accepted his initiation from Gorakishodas Babaji, who did not want to initiate him because he didn't want to initiate anybody. They said those who are at such a high advanced stage do not consider themselves elevated. They rather see everybody else higher than them. And because of the status, the caliber of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, he didn't want to initiate him. But Bhaktisiddhanta had his way, and he did get his initiation. And regarded Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj very highly, and surrendered unto him. In his own way, though, Yukta Vairagya, as we said, because one time Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj told him, don't go to Calcutta. It's Maya. But he went. But he never went to the Maya Calcutta. He just went there to preach. So he was never really in the town of Calcutta. Like Prabhupada said when he was in New York, that he was not in New York, he was always in Vrindavan, in his consciousness. So Bhaktisiddhanta, he learned that. Bhaktisiddhanta was like that. He was not in the world, he was in the spiritual world. Okay? Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, your Guru Maharaj wrote a big book about Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. You have one story to tell us?
I still not read that.
Oh, you have not entered that book. Good. Anyone has a story? Yes?
Not a story, Mataji, but like you're giving me this seva of finding out the quotes. So few of the statements from Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj. So I have just figured out few, but I'll read two. So one Prabhupada has written, we are here on earth not to work as artisans for making big buildings with wood and stone, but to work only as messengers of the teachings of Srila Chaitanya Dev. So this is one of the statements he has given, and then one more is there. I wish that every selfless, tender-hearted person of Gaudiya Math will be prepared to shed 200 gallons of blood for the nourishment of the spiritual corpus of every individual of this world. So these are few of the statements that I was finding out.
Yes.
This morning, I heard only a little bit. Devi Shakti Mataji was narrating the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. And this one part that she said, it was very nice. She said that Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to Mahaprabhu, please send me someone of yours. Please send me someone of yours who can help me with this spreading of this movement. It was very beautiful. And then he described Bimala Prasad, that the Prasad of Jagannath goes to Bimala Prasad and then it comes. So that's why they named him Bimala Prasad, because he's actually from the Lord, directly from the Lord. And we can see. We've been hearing, it's many years now, I've been hearing the on the appearance and disappearance of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, but it is so nice to hear that actually there's so much of, he knew so much, but he made Krishna consciousness so practical and accessible. That was his main mission. It looked like this preaching in every town and village, how to make it accessible to the women, to the how this class of society, making things practical, Brahmin initiation, sannyas before him, everybody is in white. We were talking about this a few days back. But from him, the sannyas order got established. So much came from him. It's really a great personality to honor today. It's very nice.
Yes, especially now in winter, we see very clearly 3 white dresses and then the orange dress of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura. That was great innovation. He was greatly criticized for this by the Babajis. He was greatly criticized for reintroducing the Varnashram culture into the line of Mahaprabhu. Because Mahaprabhu kicked out all these things. Kicked out all these things because Krishna consciousness is situated above Varnashram. But as we know, those who are Paramahansa Vaishnavas, they are definitely above everything. But because we are a preaching movement, and then we bring in people from all, different types of qualifications, and so people are not ready, they are not transcendental that much. And unless the rules, the social rules are there, then there will be disasters. People will not be able to follow the 4 regulative principles. The regulative principles are followed automatically. It's called sadachar. The proper etiquette, the proper conduct. It is explained the proper conduct, this sadachar, is actually the behavior of the self-realized person. The self-realized person will naturally behave nicely. He will not engage in intoxication, he will not engage in illicit affairs, because he has no interest in all this. He's pure, purified. So there's no sinful tendencies. But those who just take up Krishna consciousness, there are sinful tendencies there. And so without rules and regulations, then things will not work properly. And it was also that there was a terrible bad name which had included to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement by the time Bhakti Vinod was there and then Bhaktisiddhanta, because the people were in the name of Krishna Bhakti were really misbehaving. As we know, there were like 13 Apa Sampradayas that had taken birth, with people practicing all sorts of nonsense, reenacting the rasa dance and all this. It was very terrible. And so the Gaudiya Vaishnavism had actually gotten a bad name amongst the pious people and the good people in society. And so to change all that, Bhaktisiddhanta re-established the ashrams, so that people can refrain from illicit sex by practicing brahmacharya, and also that people can get out of this grihastha ashram. Otherwise, people sit in the grihastha ashram forever. So that they can get out of it, then he established the further ashrams. So in that way, he did that work. He was criticized for that, but because he did that, then he was able to bring in people and regulate them and train them and gradually, bring them to the point of being brahmanas, actually. So, good. So we are going to offer Pushpanjali to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur by reciting all the pranam mantras of the Guru Parampara, the Mangalacharan, and then we will offer flowers. And all of you are welcome to offer your prayers, personal prayers, to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to bless us. And he can bless us with devotion. He can bless us with the understanding of Siddhanta. He can bless us with philosophical understanding. He can bless us with dedication to the mission of Lord Chaitanya. and so on. He can bless us in so many ways. So let us pray to Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Hari Bol. So let us get up and chant the prayers. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Punyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Tinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurayojjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dhantaharine Namo Gaurakishoraya Sakshatvairagya Murtaye Vipralambha Rasambhode Padam Bhujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumes Tvam Nirdishta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratam Pangol Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padambhoja Radha Madana Mohana Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastha Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prishtalibhi Sevyamana Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vamshivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu Swaner Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now we will chant again the pranam mantra for Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. We have 4 of them. And then we'll offer the flowers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Tinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadhya Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasiddhanta Dhanta Harine Esha Pushpanjali Jai Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Tinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadhya Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasiddhanta Dhanta Harine Esha Pushpanjali Jai Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Tinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadhya Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasiddhanta Dhanta Harine Esha Pushpanjali Okay, everyone can offer their prayers, and there will be arti, but you may attend, or may go for prasadam. Usually we proceed for prasadam. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura ki jai.